Good morning, afternoon, everyone. I want to begin with something we all know deep down, but rarely allow ourselves to believe. You are enough, not because of the trophies, the grades, the promotions, or the applause, but because you are here living, breathing, learning, and growing. When I say act as if you are the best, I'm not talking about arrogance or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about stepping into life with a courage that says, I belong here. My story matters. My voice deserves to be heard. So often we compare ourselves to others, scrolling through highlights of someone else's life, wondering if we measure up. But here's the truth. No one has your story. No one has your exact mix of experiences, scars, gifts, and dreams. That uniqueness is not a weakness. It's your greatest strength. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean you think you're better than others. It means you stop shrinking yourself to fit in. It means you show up fully, knowing that worthiness is not earned, it's already yours. Owning your worth begins with unlearning one of the most harmful beliefs many of us grew up with, that we have to earn love, approval, or belonging. Somewhere along the way, someone told us, sometimes with words, sometimes with silence, that we would only be enough if we performed, pleased, or proved ourselves. Maybe it was a teacher who only noticed you when you got the grade. Maybe it was a parent whose affection seemed tied to your achievements. Maybe it was society whispering that beauty, money, or status determined your value. Slowly, we start to believe that worthiness is something fragile, conditional, or even temporary. We act as if our value depends on how others see us. But the truth is this: your worth is not a prize to be won. It isn't a finish line you cross once you've worked hard enough, sacrificed enough, or perfected yourself enough. Worthiness is your birthright. It is not given by people, and it cannot be taken away by them. You already came into this world with it, and no failure, rejection, or criticism can cancel it out. The problem is most of us don't live that way. We hustle for worthiness. We bend over backwards, trying to keep everyone happy. We collect gold stars and likes as if they're proof we matter. And even when we get them, the feeling doesn't last. There's always another bar to reach, another person to impress, another fear that maybe deep down we're still not enough. Living like this is exhausting because it's a race that never ends. Owning your worth means stepping off that treadmill. It means deciding, sometimes in defiance of every old voice in your head, that you are already enough, exactly as you are today. This doesn't mean you stop growing, dreaming, or challenging yourself. It simply means your value is not up for debate while you do it. Growth is something you deserve to pursue, not something you have to achieve to prove you belong. Think about the people you admire most, the ones whose presence feels magnetic. They're not necessarily the richest, the most famous, or even the most talented. What draws us in is their groundedness, their confidence that doesn't shout but radiates. They have flaws, but they don't hide behind masks. They carry themselves as though they deserve to take up space, and that makes everyone around them breathe a little easier. That's the power of owning your worth. It frees not only you, but it gives permission to others to step into their own. Of course, this isn't easy. Many of us have years, even decades, of shame and doubt piled on our shoulders. Some mornings, it feels like no amount of affirmations could make us believe we're worthy. But here's the truth. Worthiness is not a feeling, it's a fact. You don't have to feel it every moment to live as if it's true. Some days, owning your worth is as simple as standing up straighter, looking someone in the eye and saying, I belong here. Every time you stop apologizing for who you are, you're owning your worth. Every time you set a boundary and say no, you're owning your worth. Every time you choose rest instead of burnout, every time you silence the inner critic, every time you walk into a room without shrinking, you are reclaiming the truth that was always yours. You are enough. And the more you practice it, the stronger it gets. Little by little, you stop waiting for permission. You stop auditioning for acceptance. You stop comparing your path to everyone else's. Instead, you walk in the quiet, steady confidence that no matter what happens today, success, failure, applause, or silence, you are worthy. And when you live from that truth, the world around you begins to shift. Comparison is one of the most natural yet destructive habits we fall into. It's something we've been taught since childhood, even before we realized it. Who ran the fastest in the race? Who got the best grade? Who was the teacher's favorite? Little by little, we were conditioned to measure ourselves against someone else's yardstick, and soon comparison became a reflex. As adults, we carry this forward. We scroll through social media, we watch colleagues at work, we listen to friends share their stories, and somewhere deep inside, a voice whispers, "You're falling behind, you're not enough. Look at them and look at you." But here's what comparison steals: your peace, your energy, your joy. When you compare your path to someone else's, you're essentially abandoning your own lane. Imagine running in a marathon, but constantly turning your head left and right to see who's faster. You'd trip, you'd stumble, and you'd lose the rhythm of your own race. That's what comparison does. It distracts you from your own story, your own growth, and your own strength. The antidote is courage. Stepping into courage doesn't mean you never feel fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to show up anyway. It's the voice that says, yes, I see the risks. Yes, I feel vulnerable, but I'm going to stand here and live fully as myself. Courage is choosing authenticity over imitation, presence over perfection, and progress over comparison. Think about it. The people we admire most aren't the ones who lived their lives trying to copy someone else's blueprint. They are the ones who dared to be different, who risked being seen, who owned their story even when it was messy or imperfect. They weren't fearless. They simply decided not to let fear have the final word. That's the difference between living in comparison and living in courage. One keeps you trapped in scarcity. The other sets you free in abundance. Comparison whispers that there's not enough room for everyone, that if someone else is shining, there's less light left for you. Courage says the opposite. Courage reminds you that the sun doesn't lose its brightness because another star is shining. It only makes the sky more beautiful. Someone else's success does not diminish your value. Their achievements don't erase your potential. Life is not a competition. It's a canvas. And every canvas needs different colors, different strokes, different shapes to be complete. Stepping into courage also means embracing vulnerability. It's telling your truth even if your voice shakes. It's trying something new even if you might fail. It's admitting you don't know everything, but you're willing to learn. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the birthplace of connection, creativity, and growth. Comparison pushes us to hide our flaws and put on masks, but courage invites us to show up as we really are. And when we do, we realize something powerful. People connect with our authenticity far more than our perfection. It's tempting to think courage has to look loud and dramatic, like big speeches or bold moves, but often courage shows up in quieter ways. It's having the courage to say no when you're stretched too thin. It's asking for help when you feel lost. It's celebrating someone else's win without letting it diminish yours. It's waking up every day and choosing to keep going, even when life feels heavy. Comparison will always knock on your door. It's human, but you don't have to invite it in. You don't have to give it the keys to your mind. Instead, each time it shows up, you can remind yourself, my story is not theirs. My race is not theirs. My worth is not measured by their pace. And then you can take a deep breath and step into courage, even if it's just one small step today. Over time, those steps add up. And one day you'll look back and realize you weren't running someone else's race after all. You were building your own step by step with courage as your compass. And in that race, you are already enough. When we hear the phrase, be the best, most of us immediately picture perfection, the flawless performance, the spotless record, the first place medal. From a young age, we are taught that the best is the one who wins, the one who never stumbles, the one who makes no mistakes. But this definition is not only unrealistic, it's dangerous. It sets us up to believe that if we fall short of perfect, we are not worthy. And because perfection is an illusion, many of us live our lives constantly chasing something that can never be caught. Redefining the best begins with telling the truth. The best is not perfect. The best is not the one who never fails. It's the one who shows up again and again, no matter how many times they fall. The best is not about being untouchable. It's about being authentic, because people don't connect with perfection. They connect with realness. They connect with the human being who admits their struggles but still chooses to rise. Think of the people who inspire you most. Are they flawless? Probably not. In fact, it's usually their vulnerability, their openness, their resilience that makes them magnetic. We are moved by those who have scars but choose to wear them with pride, those who have been knocked down but got up anyway. The best is not about never breaking, it's about how beautifully you put yourself back together when you do. So instead of asking, how can I be perfect? Ask, how can I be present? Perfection keeps us in our heads, second guessing every move, terrified of making mistakes. Presence allows us to be here, now fully engaged in the moment, alive to what's real. When you are present, you give yourself permission to grow, to learn, to stumble, and to shine all at once. That is what it means to be the best, not flawless, but fully alive. The best is also resilient. Life will test you. There will be seasons where nothing seems to go right, where dreams collapse, where doors close, and where the weight of it all makes you wonder if you'll ever get back up. In those moments, being the best isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about feeling the pain, facing the loss, and still daring to believe that your story isn't over yet. The best doesn't always win, but the best never quits. Another part of redefining the best is recognizing that your definition doesn't have to match the world's for one person. The best might mean building a business. For another, it might mean raising kind children. For someone else, It might mean writing poetry that only a handful of people will ever read, but those people will carry it in their hearts forever. The best is deeply personal. It's about living in alignment with your values, not society's scoreboard. And here's something else. Being the best doesn't mean being the best alone. Somewhere along the way, we were tricked into believing life is a competition, that for us to win, someone else has to lose. But the truth is, your light doesn't dim when someone else shines, it multiplies. Redefining the best means understanding that collaboration is stronger than competition, that lifting others up is not a threat to your greatness, but a reflection of it. Every day, you get to choose your definition of the best. Maybe today, the best is giving your all at work. Maybe tomorrow, the best is taking care of your mental health. Maybe some days the best is simply getting out of bed and facing the world, even when it feels impossible. Whatever it looks like, your best is not measured against anyone else. It's measured by the courage to show up as you are, where you are, with what you have. So when you hear the phrase, be the best, let it mean this: be authentic, be resilient, be present, and be aligned with your truth. Because that version of the best is not only attainable, it's unshakable. And once you embrace it, you realize you never needed to chase perfection in the first place. You were already enough. There is something powerful about the way a person carries themselves. You can often tell if someone believes in their worth before they even speak a word. It's in the way they walk into a room, the way they look others in the eye, the way they take up space without apology. Standing tall is not just about posture. It is a declaration. It is saying to the world, I belong here. I am enough. I will not shrink so that others feel comfortable. And this kind of presence has nothing to do with arrogance. It is about dignity. For too many of us, life has taught us to shrink. We've been told directly or indirectly that we are too much, too loud, too ambitious, too sensitive, too different. So we start to fold ourselves smaller, bite our tongue, lower our gaze, and walk softly as if apologizing for existing. We play it safe because somewhere deep inside, we fear that if people saw the full version of us, they might not accept it. But here's the truth. Every time you shrink, you're dimming a light that someone else desperately needs to see. Every time you hide, you're denying the world a piece of your story that could inspire, encourage, or even heal. Standing tall means refusing to live that way anymore. It means reclaiming your space in the world, no matter who told you that you didn't deserve it. It's not about pretending to have it all together. It's about having the courage to stand in your truth. You may be vulnerable, you may be imperfect, but you are still worthy of being seen, of being heard, of being respected. That worth is not negotiable. And yes, standing tall will sometimes make others uncomfortable. When you stop apologizing for yourself, when you begin to walk in confidence, not everyone will celebrate you. Some will misunderstand, some will feel threatened, and some will try to pull you back down. But remember this, their reaction is not about you, it's about their own unhealed insecurities. Do not shrink yourself just to soothe someone else's fear. You are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your truth. Standing tall also means resilience in the face of setbacks. Life will test you. You will face rejection, failure, criticism, and heartbreak. Standing tall doesn't mean pretending those things don't hurt. It means refusing to let them define you. It means learning to bend without breaking, to rise even when your knees are shaky, to keep showing up even after life has knocked the wind out of you. Every scar you carry can be worn like a medal of survival, proof that you stood tall when life tried to make you bow. This doesn't mean you have to be strong all the time. In fact, part of standing tall is acknowledging when you need support. It's knowing that asking for help doesn't make you small. It makes you human. Real strength isn't in pretending you don't need anyone. Real strength is in having the courage to stand tall in your vulnerability, to say, I can't do this alone, and to allow others to walk beside you. Ultimately, standing tall is about how you see yourself. If you believe deep down that no one is better than you, not because you are flawless, but because everyone is equally worthy, then you carry yourself differently. You stop begging for permission to exist. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You stop apologizing for your dreams. Instead, you begin to live with the quiet, grounded confidence that your presence has value just as much as anyone else's. So, wherever you go, stand tall in the boardroom, in the classroom, on the stage, at the dinner table. In the mirror when it's just you and your reflection, stand tall for the child you once were who needed to see someone believing in themselves. Stand tall for the people around you who need to be reminded that it's possible. And most of all, stand tall for yourself because you have spent far too long shrinking. The world doesn't need a smaller version of you. It needs the full, unapologetic, authentic you. And when you finally stand tall, you'll discover you were never less than enough. You were always more powerful than you believed.